Okay, good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year, and welcome to the NLI EMCOMM Forum. My name is Jim Mezey, W2KFV. I'm the New York Long Island Section Manager. Rhea, our Hudson Division Director, N2RJ, she'll be with us shortly. She's got a couple of technical difficulties that she's dealing with, so hopefully she'll get on board. So that changes the whole presentation a little bit, so we're going to start. A little bit here, a little bit about me. I've been licensed. I was originally licensed in 1959, for those that don't know, and I've taken my uncle's call sign, W2KFV. He's the one that got me interested in amateur radio many years ago, and I just love the hobby. The hobby's great, and this is my way of giving back to it by doing some work with the ARRL and enjoying public safety and public communications and HF and everything else about amateur radio. It's the greatest hobby in the world, as most of you know. But what I like to do, a couple of things I like to do. I'd like to get a poll, George, if you can, about the location of our members. George,
okay, we'll do.
All right, a poll's going to come up. Please fill out the poll when you get a chance, and we'll get the information. Just trying to, okay. All right. Okay. Doing pretty good. Try to get an idea of where you're from, so you know, some of this may be interest to you, and maybe it's not, but we'll try to tailor some of it to depending on what we have in the poll. So,
okay, Jim, I'm going to close the poll.
Okay. And
results.
Can you read it out for me when you get a chance?
Can you see it?
Yeah, most everything's NLI. Is that correct?
59% New York City, Long Island, 16% elsewhere in New York, 3% Connecticut or New Jersey, 22% elsewhere in the United States. So you have quite a few people not in NLI.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, very good. It's kind of interesting. Those that are ARRL members, we like to encourage you to take a look at some of the new things on the website. We have some new things on the ARRL page. Number one, we know that the National Convention is going to be here in Orlando at the Hamcation in February. There's a lot of new things that are coming up on board. You should take a look at it. We have these magazines, on the air magazines are all done digital now, along with the Contest Journal and QEX magazine. You can pick them up in the digital editions or QST. You can do it that way. And we haven't gone through a couple of new things that are here that we have besides the on the air magazine. We have a YouTube channel with a lot of information on it, and there's a learning center that I think Rhea will talk about a little bit. It's brand new. We have some new people doing that, and it's really a great thing. It's improved the website tremendously. We could talk about that. As you can see, we also have here a new Director of Emergency Management. His name is Josh Johnston, KE5MHV. He came into the management. He's from Arkansas. He's got a lot of experience in emergency management. He's into amateur radio quite a bit, and so he should be a good fit for ARRL and EMCOMM going forward. So we wish him well. And there's a little picture of him down here. It doesn't really show you too much, but he's there, and there he is. So he's a new, fairly young guy, but he's got the credentials. So hopefully, all that's going to work out well. Membership. we have that on board. You should be an ARRL member if you aren't. There's so much you can get for it. There's 26 different facets of amateur radio, as we all know, but there's so much that you can get through the ARRL, and there are advocacy for keeping our bands open and work in Washington. So we always have, they work hard in Washington with HOAs and other things to keep the bands free so we can have good operation. I'm talking a little bit out of late for myself here because I didn't expect this end of the presentation. I found out about this about 2 minutes ago, so please bear with me a little bit. There are different levels. We're talking about membership. If you're not a member, please kind of consider it. There's a lot of information here that you could see and why you should be a member. I don't want to go through all this because it's quite obviously everybody can do it, but it gives you a voice in the affairs of the league, and there's a lot of publications, and you can see emergency communication services, technical information, operating awards, QSL service, etc., LOTW, as we all know, and we enjoy that. And it's really good. And for the cost is $49 a year. It's really not bad. If you think that's a couple of lattes from Starbucks, give you all that for your dollars. And plus you get different magazines available, stores open, a lot of information there. A couple of new things that are coming down the line is you're going to have, and you do have now on a YouTube channel, there is some licensing classes for technician and general and extra. They'll be coming up pretty soon. You'll start seeing them, as well as any other facets of amateur radio that you may be interested in learning about. Again, we do public services in a change mode. Now we have a new director, so a lot of things will be going on there. Let's see, ARRL store, for those that don't know, there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of new things there. These are some of the, I could just show you quickly some of the things that are going on. If you're interested, take a look at the store. A lot of books, a lot of the new books are out. And they're on ebooks are available, and even some of the license manuals, the handbook, and things such like that. There's also a 6-volume edition of this, a little bit more money, but they're all chock full of information about amateur radio and things that you want to know about. And they have everything. They have stuff for Field Day coming up this year, 2022. They're getting ready to put stuff up. They have some ideas here. What we're looking at Field Day, there's a committee that's been formed at the ARRL that is researching what has happened over the past 2 years because of COVID and tough ways to spend for us to enjoy a hobby with our club friends and have our big Field Day setup. So they're exploring some new ideas and new rules and regulations. So when they compile all the information from the last 2 years and aggregated scores with individual members working for their own club, they're going to come back with some new rules and try to make it a little bit easier. Also, they were talking about the 100 and 150 watt change. There was some discussions. There was pros and cons about that. And, they have to look into that. They'll be talking about that. Another thing we have to look about is RF exposure at Field Day. It's one of the things we have to keep in the back of our mind. So when we do set up, we'll set up anywhere as RF exposure. So it's a lot to be learned on the ARRL website. There's a lot of information here, and they're trying to adjust a lot of things here, so it looks a little bit better. And there's a spot here for news and features if you want to go on. It gives you a lot of different things here. This is a survey and Field Day participants. You may want to check on that and talk about the survey, which I was just talked about. Couple of things here. New question pool out for technician is start July 1st. So those, or if you have anybody that's looking to get licensed as of July 1st, are going to be changing some of the questions. So take a look at that. But all in all, I see a lot of good things with ARRL. We have some new people, new director, CEO, Dave Minster, N2RJ, is got some pretty interesting ideas, and he's very passionate about the hobby, like most of us are, and wants to do the right thing by everybody. If you read his page in QST every month, you get some different ideas and interests. So those are some of the things that I can talk about with ARRL at this point. That was just a quick going over quickly. If Georgia, if anybody has any questions about the league that possibly I can answer before Rhea gets in, if you put them into your chat now, and as they come up, George, you can interrupt me if you have something there.
Nothing yet, Jim, but
Okay.
I will suggest that there's a questions tab on your control panel. If you click on the arrow in front of the word questions, it'll bring up the tab and you'll be able to ask a question.
Right.
Nothing
So,
here yet.
okay, great, thank you. Leaving that for now. A lot of things in the ARRL that's positive. I know there's a lot of people that are not too happy with it, but you know what? This is a hobby. They've been in business for a long, long time, and it's all run by volunteers, and they work hard at doing what they're doing. So, you know, you can't, there's with the 15 directors, and they all get together 2-3 times a year to hash over different things that come from the sections. There's 71 sections in the country. It's not easy to do, put all this together. And doing COVID's put a kibosh on a lot of things, as you know. It is here in New York right now. We have, our numbers are going up with the Omicron variant and the Delta variant are the two high ones right now in the hospitals, along with the regular every day flu, their yearly flu that's coming out. So kind of bear with the league a little bit if you can. We're out there to help everybody. I'm always available for the people in New York, Long Island section. You get a hold of me anytime and try to answer your questions, or at least I'll get your answers taken care of right away. And I know Rhea's working hard for the division, and she's trying to get a lot of things moved forward on her end. I do want to say that we did have a Hudson Division award ceremony and just recently, and it worked out very well. We haven't had one in a couple of years. Thank you, the Orange County Amateur Radio Club, for sponsoring it up in Newburgh. And I don't have a list of all the winners here, but a couple of local ones that I know of. We had Rich Citron, K2KMB was Amateur of the Year for this year, and he did very well. He's a very dedicated man. You'll see him in one of the forums for Cables and Connectors, and he's the affiliated club coordinator for myself. Running down my staff, we'll talk about that down a little bit when I get into the EMCOMM, and I think I'm going to start shifting gears and go in there. So if there's no more questions here, I'm going to shift over into the EMCOMM session. Anything, George?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
This may be more of a Rhea question.
Okay.
This person would like to know if any progress has been made with allowing antennas in condos.
Yeah, progress, yeah, being that they're still working on it. She did talk about it the other day a little bit, and they're thinking about redoing some of that information, but that's more of a Rhea question. She's got more information on that than I do. It's going to be a long drawn out thing, but I think the ultimate objective there is to put a decent antenna up that's inobtrusive, even if it's a wire, maybe it's a flagpole or a vertical. I know we have a couple of issues on Long Island that we're trying to work out with particular areas, but there's nothing that says just because you're an amateur radio, we have to give and take a little bit. Some of these condos, they can hide them, you can hide antennas, that's a good thing, but the actual wording is, it's a little bit difficult right now, and with new people in the congressional area and the lobbying that's constantly going on, they are working it. I think they want to reword some of the items there, but when she comes on board, if not, but if and when she does come on board, we'll run that question by her again. I don't know if that helps or not.
You have one more, Jim?
Go ahead.
One more question. This person would like to know your contact information.
Sure, absolutely. It's my call sign at W2KFV, Kilo Foxtrot Victor, at ARRL.org. And if you send me an email there, I'll get back to you. And my phone number's there. If you want to talk to me by phone, you can do that. And, we'll get whatever we can helped out for you. We work real hard in the NLI section. Don't necessarily always agree with some things that are going on, but the NLI section is very unique. So we're going to start talking about that as far as EMCOMM goes. Anyway, is that okay? George?
Yeah, one other question. Does New York have a specific ARRL badge, or is it just the general ARRL ARRL ID?
The general ARRL ID, basically, we're in a process of, a matter of fact, let me pull one out. We're using the same badge that we've used for many years. However, it's been modified a little bit, and we were modifying it this year again, but we want to get the everything. There we go. All right. This is pretty much the badge that's being used. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see that here. But right today, it does have an ARRL logo on it. It also has classes, and there's a green bar on the end that gives us a little bit of information on what you are. But this is basically the NLI ARRL badge, okay? And they're given to all active members. We're in the process of redoing that now. I think these are expired in, oh man, I can't see anymore. All right, this one expires this year, so this will have to be redo. We'll be redoing them this year. Okay, so that's that. If that helps, George. Any others?
Yeah, don't have any other questions at this time, Jim.
All right. What we're going to do, we're going to move over to the next end. I'm going to switch screens here, so stand by a little bit. And we're going to go over to, all right, my slide deck here. And we're going to start this from the beginning. All right. Okay. This is a little bit here. It's not really a long presentation, but we can get it involved in this as much as you want or as little as you want. First, I want to say, again, thank you everybody that's here. Give you a little bit of background in NLI EMCOMM. If you notice, I don't say it's New York City, Long Island, ARRL. It doesn't really work here on Long Island. So what we call it NLI EMCOMM, which is, it encompasses everything. It encompasses ARRL, it encompasses RACES, it encompasses CERT or any other EMCOMM group that wants to come on board. And that's basically the start of it. We've changed it over the years. As I've been section manager, because it comes and goes. It's it varies depending on a lot of different issues over the years. As life changes, things change. Let me move along here a little bit. Oh, come on, stop! Don't do this to me. It's English. Come on, stop. Why is that doing that? Okay. All right. Please sidetrack a little bit. Please consider making a donation to help the cost of HRU. Go to hamradiouniversity.org and look at the donate button. And I want to really thank the committee for putting this together. They always do a great job. It's very difficult to, especially with a virtual Hamfest. This year is a little bit different as we have 3 tracks. So let's just move forward with that. All right. NLI EMCOMM. What is it? NLI is divided into 3 different areas, 3 different districts. We have New York City district, which is consists of 5 boroughs, the 5 boroughs in New York, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and the Bronx. And in there we have an Aries group and a CERT group, okay? And our DEC, or District Emergency Coordinator, is Martin Grillo, Whiskey 1 Echo Mike Romeo. And Martin does a nice job with that. What I did want to also say, prior to that, we had a section emergency coordinator, Russ Loger, KC2LSB, and Russ had decided to step down this year, and we are going to try to do a lot of work in New York City because it's because of different things. We've lost a lot of people in New York. We've lost a lot of people all over Long Island. Aries people, Races people, CERT people, and we're trying to rebuild. So basically it's a rebuilding end, and Russ is going to be working with Martin as an ADEC and start to build up the New York City end of it. So that's where we go with that. And then in Nassau County, New York, which where I am, I was a former EC, AC, DEC, all those different things here. And in Nassau County, we have Aries, which is very, very strong group. We have Races, which is pretty strong, but we call it in Nassau County, we call it Races and CERT because it works together to get the insurance benefit of county government. In Nassau it does. And Nassau consists of 3 different townships. We have town of Hempstead, town of North Hempstead, town of Oyster Bay, and 2 cities, Long Beach and the city of Glen Cove. And we have a brand new DEC in Nassau County as our former DEC, John Wilson, KD2AKX, has kind of stepped back, had life gotten in the way for him, and he's doing different things. But he's still going to be in the background, be helping us out with a lot of his expertise. And I'm proud to announce Ken Kovacek, KD2GXL, has taken over the lead for DEC. Ken, a former ADEC in Nassau County, does a great job. And we look a lot of things forward from Ken. And then the Races end of it, Races and CERT, we have our RO, or radio officer, is Bob Long, KC2 PSN, does a great job under the conditions that we have in Nassau County. We just came through a political switcheroo and that means everybody's changed in the OEM area, and they work out of the OEM in Nassau County. So it's, and hopefully they think better of amateur radio than they have in the past. We'll see what happens if that gets a little bit better. Okay, moving to Suffolk County. Suffolk County is a whole different interesting area. Well, let me go regress a minute. New York City, as you all know, it's an urban type area, and it's and being Nassau County, it's a more suburban area. where I consider Suffolk County more rural, or a combination of suburban and rural. Suffolk County works a little bit differently. They start out with RACES. RACES is a primary communications group out there. ARRLs, we have a few ARRLs operations out there, and they also have CERT. CERT is fairly new out in Suffolk County. And the DEC out in Suffolk has been a long timer, is Bill Scheibel, November 2, November, Fox, India. And the difference about Suffolk County is they have 12 different townships. And being that's RACES, it's any emergency communications comes out of a township. And I'll go into RACES mode. The big thing that we do between the three boroughs, so we'll help each other out as best we can. It doesn't matter if we're ARRLs or RACES or CERT or whatever. If we can help out in this emergency communication, it's the main thing. Let me go to the next slide here. We also work hard with the National Traffic Service and Skywarn. Very important on Long Island, both of them. National Traffic Service, we just brought in a new section traffic manager, Todd Wallerstein, Kilo Delta 2. Kilo Delta 2, KD2 CBV, and he replaced Jerry N2RJ. Jerry had some medical issues that they took him out of the service, and Todd does a lot of training on some of the VHF traffic nets, and especially the Big Apple. He helps out there, and he does a nice job. We have a Nassau County VHF traffic net, and we have a couple of members there. We always could use new people to check in at the VHF traffic service. So you can contact me, get a hold of us, we'll get a list out, or you look up Nassau County NTS and on the web, and you'll get some information. They meet every night, 146 805 machine, and 7:30 at night. So check it, see what it's about. And passing traffic is another one of the big fun hobbies of this. It's kind of interesting. It gets very involved too. So if you're into traffic service and handling traffic and assisting in emergency communications, that's one place to go. Another place, next one is Skywarn. Skywarn, huge. We just had kind of big storm over the island this week. And I have an assistant section manager, John Hale, KD2 LPM, does most of the information. He has a Skywarn net that we operate, and he does a lot of different things. John's a real good guy, knows Skywarn inside, outside, upside down, and sideways. John does a great job with that. And the coordinator for NLI Skywarn is Matt Berman, K9NYS. And he deals a lot with Upton because we deal with the NWS out in Upton. So they're available. New York City has their Skywarn crew, and John works with that. And we have a little bit of a repeater problem out in the Suffolk County end, but we're trying to get that worked on. So hopefully we'll get Suffolk loaded up in with Skywarn also. Let's see. All right, served agencies. Okay. Before we move along here, let me get this straightened out here. I want to say that everybody in NLI EMCOMM works great with each other, and we work very well with the clubs. The regular clubs are good, and we're going to be touching base on some stuff in a little bit with the clubs on Long Island. We have 43 clubs on Long Island, and they all do a fantastic job. It's a little tough now again with COVID, but we'll talk about that a little bit. I just wanted to drop that in there. Our served agencies, this is what NLI EMCOMM does. We deal with our served agencies. We deal with a lot of ATHONs, such as Red Cross is one of our served agencies. Which we've got Red Cross is having some issues too. We're having some issues, so we're trying to massage that a little bit and maybe get a new MOU done this year. We also work with the Nassau County Fire Battalions. We have amateur radio in there to help out in case they have some failures in their radio system, and it has happened over the past few years, and we were very instrumental in getting them back up and running. We deal with government agencies and other non-government agencies. We are involved with ATHONs, like it says there. We do some marathons, we do walks, we do trots, we do parades, we do all different things. Whatever they ask us to do, we're out there. Okay, what are the modes that we use? Mostly it's analog. Okay, analog FM. Okay, 2 meter handheld, 2 meter mobile radio, HT. We also work with repeaters. We have at least 21 repeaters in Nassau County that are all operational that we can deal with. Okay, we also work with digital modes, including WinLink, which is very strong with Aries and Red Cross right now. WinLink, it works. We have DMR we use, D-Star, Fusion. However, they have those modes do have some issues because a lot of it's internet driven. We also can go to HF if necessary. We're using NVIS antennas, as we all know. We need to do a little more practicing on it, but that's not our that's not our first issue. We'll talk about on this slide. I wanted to touch base with new members. We're trying to get new members in all the different categories, in all the different sections, or I should say districts. New York City, we're always looking for new people. We're actually looking for a lot of new people in the New York City area and Nassau County, and we're always looking for it. I know Suffolk, the groups out there are always looking for people. And if you're new ham, we heard that in the poll that they took of all the new hams that got their licenses, is why did they get their license? Because they want to be involved in public service. So if you're on board here today and you want to be involved in public service and you're a new ham, you should at least have a dual band type radio. And I'm just holding one up. I don't know if you can see it. This is a dual band HT, what we call a handy talkie, and it should have 2 meters and 440 in it. This happens to be a 5-watt radio. This is offline actually. And this is a good radio to have. This also does DMR, this particular radio. But you know, eventually work with that. You should have a extra battery, better antenna, whether it's a mag mount, a J pole, or even a better antenna than this one that's on here. Maybe you need something with a little more gain, which would be something like this. Okay, they're all able. It makes it easier to talk. I've noticed a lot of new members have problems hitting the machine, hitting a repeater, or have problems hitting going in a simplex mode, can't reach the person. There's a couple of things that you could do to that. If you talk to you're an Elmer, if you have an Elmer or a club, or an Aries group, or even talk to me if you want to know how there's different ways in doing this. You can talk with a handy talk mic. You can hold the radio up high, higher up in the air. You can move 1 or 2 feet one direction or the other. You may hit the repeater. You could be in a dead spot. You could be getting a lot of bouncing around with the radio signals going out. So the other thing, you know, just hold it up high, hold it away from your body. You'll get a better signal. And with a better antenna, it works better. Eventually, you may even have a mag mount. Mag mounts work well. J-pole antennas work well. Higher gain antenna, like I said. Eventually, you may want to lead into dual band radio, like this here. This happens to be a D-Star 5100. I have it disconnected, but this here, you could be car operated. It's a 50-watt radio. Works real well with the GP3 or any kind of antenna. You know, this happens to be in my QTH right now. I have a different radio in the car, gives me a little bit better, you know, signal, because you have more power. You know, like everything, more power. If you remember the old Binford statement, and Tim the Toolman Taylor always had to have more power. He was really a big guy into that. But you know, higher power makes it a much more robust signal for you, and much easier for everybody to hear you. You may hear somebody, but they may not hear you, especially on a simplex end. Repeaters, you may come into the repeater very light, and so you may want to consider it. One thing is have your signals checked before you get to a particular event, whatever you want to do. And like I say, eventually lead into a dual band antenna. Let's talk a little bit about training. NLI requires training, ARRL training. This is for ARRL right now, and part of it is also for races, and anybody into EMCOMM or wants to be involved in EMCOMM. A certain training is necessary to be an all-around great EMCOMM operator. Some of these are ICS 100, 200, 700, and 800, the NLI task book. We have ARRL EC 001, EC 0016, HawksComm's another end, NTS and Skywarn training. Let's explore them a little bit, okay? Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay, ICS 100, it's an intro to the incident command system. This is a basic layout of how things actually operate under FEMA guidelines. And ICS 200 is a basic incident command system for an initial response. So these are these couple of courses, or some of the ones that we request you have. They all can be done online, including NCS 700, which is Introduction to NIMS, National Incident Management System, tells you how it operates nationwide. And the 800 course is Introduction to the framework itself, the response framework, how things come in from the different parts of the country during major events like the wildfires, an earthquake, whether it's a hurricane, or even sometimes a northeaster, what we have here. But these just give you basic tools, just to get an idea. They're not hard to take. They take you an hour or so online. They're all free. They don't cost anything. But they're important things that we look for you to work with. Now, like I said, training is important to make a full, good EMCOMM operator. The more training you have, the better it is. It's just like everything. The more you learn about it, the more you practice with it, the better you become. So there's also a task book in NLI. There's an NLI test book, which has different skill levels in it. Usually the entry level, we try to get you an entry level or level 1, which is, it talks about ARRL a little bit, includes skills learned when obtaining your amateur radio license. Now, part of these skills include, you know, you have to be licensed, number 1. We try to get you to have a radio. If you don't have one yet, we MOU with somebody. But if you can get an area, a lot of the new people get a Baofeng radio or something. It's a small $25, $30 radio, dual bander. Not the best radio. It's got some issues with it, but for entry level people, it works. If you have nearby repeaters, but you should learn how to program it and program the right frequencies in it. And your ARRL group can help you with that. Your club can help you with that, or anybody can help you with that. That has some knowledge of the particular radio that you have. So that starts you in a level 1, gets you into the groove. Most ARRL people will have you Elmered up with somebody, doubled up with somebody that you can learn. So that's basically the basic level of ARRL. Races is basically the same thing. Races is you need to have 100, 200. 700 and 800 to be a RACES member also. So, and you do need to know how to work your own radios and stuff. The level 2 skill set is pretty much desired by ARRLs, and it's obtained through coursework and training. And it's a little bit more involved, not too bad though. And most ARRLs members should try to attain those levels. I'm not going to develop into that so much. So, and then we'll go to the level 3 is increased skill set that initiates a pathway to leadership position. This is, they're all very easily attainable. They also require some other options in there, and they give you other optional courses that you could take, maybe ICS 300, 400, AUXCOMM or something like that. So we're talking about ACR, ARRL, EC001, which is Introduction to Emergency Communications, EC016, which is Communications Management. Now, served agencies, they may have training also. I know some of Red Cross has specialized needs in training, and some of the fire battalions have some training necessary to need. In case, especially if you have to work with a different type of a radio, you may have to be able to understand some of the vernacular and conversation that goes on in a fire service. So,
Jim, you got 5 minutes.
Yes, okay. Oh, she's here? All right. If she's here, then what I'm going to do, I can continue this down the road. All I want to really say is some of the problems we have quickly. We have members attrition and moving, and they went different directions. COVID made a hit. But we do have an outlet where we're going. We'll be reaching out to clubs, mail outs to new hams, and try to make your ARRLs group visible to the public. So anyway, thank you so much. I'm going to pass this over to Rhea, and we'll go from there. Okay? Thank you. How do we get out of this? Hi, Rhea. Let me get out of this.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had Optimum here, and they kind of messed up my internet. So it was and they came to fix it. So let me bring up my keynote here, and I will show you. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. We don't have a lot of time. So I hope everybody's seeing that screen that we're sharing here. Are you guys seeing here? Not showing anything.
Not yet.
So, okay. Okay. All right, good. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me start over here. Okay. So I just want to give you guys a brief update. Headquarters at Newington is fully open. We have guest operators at W1AW, and of course there's all the new precautions and stuff like that, but people are going in and operating. So if you want to visit, the lobby actually has been fully remodeled. We have a whole new presentation of radios and all that stuff, but the main back office is locked out only for employees. I could show you, this was the reopening here. We had a member of Congress and Senate and also local representatives. Then we took them in the back room and told them what we wanted. I'm kidding. We basically, you know, spoke with them about some of our efforts and what we could do. Here's some more pictures of the front lobby here. You can see they have ham aid as well too, and that's on full display here. More of this. All right, and you can see here myself with our new CEO, who's doing a lot of things. We had him also at the division awards. So you have Hamfest are back, and we also had the division awards last year. We had about 100 people attend. Richie Cetron, K2KNB, got an award, and you know it's very nice to hear a speech from him too. We had David as a speaker. We had Joe Taylor as a speaker, and you can see we had a good, you know, good size, all things considered. All right. Of course, this is Landmark Hamfest, and you know everybody's there. We have the Hamfest. Attendance is not back up where it was, and people are wearing masks and gloves for, well, gloves for whatever reason, but they're, you know, the Hamfests are coming back. We're glad to see the Hamfests coming back. This is one in Eastern New York. You see people out here as well. But the main thing I want to show you is the Learning Center. So if there's one thing you take away from this today, is that ARRL now has the Learning Center where you could learn courses, right? You can actually go in and take various courses, not only on EMCOMM, they have the full suite of EMCOMM courses that Jim was talking about, but they also have courses on how to select antennas, how to, you know, use your radio, how to do SOTA, Summits on the Air, and Parks on the Air, POTA. And they have a whole suite of things. So if you go to learn.arrl.org and you use your ARRL username and password, you'll be able to get in there. We have new scholarships at the foundation, and we're preparing a club grant program where clubs will be able to request grants for equipment and other things, even something as simple as meeting space, because I know some clubs, they had problems. They lost like their building or facility or whatever, and then they had to move out. So we offer assistance for that too. ARDC is the organization that provides a lot of the funding. You can get large grants from them too. They have over $150 million to give away to amateur radio. I'm not kidding. Go to ampr.org/giving, and they have a whole outlay of the giving program. I'm actually working on a couple grants, on applying for a couple grants for a couple clubs. One of them is a school club up here in New Jersey, Sussex County, and the other one is